Hi, my name is Owen Madalena, the owner of Haven Landscape and Design. In this ePortfolio presentation, I will go over an industry-specific software called DynaScape. In my HORT 120 class, we use both landscape industry-specific and non-industry-specific softwares. By using industry-specific softwares, we're able to access plant labeling and image tools and databases. The images shown on this slide are from the DynaScape database. However, because we're able to access these plant images and different figures, this comes with some quirks. Oftentimes, while using the landscape industry-specific software, you will find some slight glitches that you wouldn't find while using software such as AutoCAD. So far in this class, we have used both DynaScape, an industry-specific software, and AutoCAD, which is non-industry specific. One major difference we found between the two softwares was the polyline tool. While they both have a similar objective, we noticed that the DynaScape polyline tool is much better than the AutoCAD one for our purposes. If you are trying to make a long snaking pathway, you are able to use the DynaScape polyline tool to create multiple points and then grip edit the points to make a smooth snaking curve, while in AutoCAD you don't have access to these features. Another benefit of using DynaScape is that it has a lot of processes that are automated, where in AutoCAD you have to do them manually. For example, the paper size is selected at the beginning of a project in DynaScape, whereas AutoCAD you have to figure that out later. Also, layers are automized in DynaScape. For example, if you're using figures such as plants, trees, furniture, or vehicles, when you place one of them, it is automatically put into a corresponding layer. However, in AutoCAD, if you use a block that is in the shape of a car, you have to make its layer because there are no preset layers. Similar to AutoCAD, DynaScape also has a model space in which all our drawing and editing of our plan is done. After entering the model space, we insert an image and scale it to real-world dimensions. To scale this image, we did the same thing that we did in AutoCAD, which was use the dimension of a door, which is usually around 36 inches, and then select the 2 points, and it will scale the entire drawing so that it is in a 1-to-1 ratio. However, after scaling the drawings, we noticed that moving them was a lot more difficult in DynaScape than AutoCAD, as the process had many steps. Another difference between the two programs is their paper space. DynaScape's paper space is located in the middle of the drawing as soon as you make it, and is already set to a real-world paper size that you selected whenever you create the drawing. However, AutoCAD's paper space is only accessible through a separate tab. As I mentioned before, the polyline is a very useful tool in the DynaScape software. I said it is very good for making snaking curves such as this pathway seen in the image, and you can use grip edits between each endpoint to make the curve as smooth as you would like it. There's also other uses for the polyline. We used the closed polyline tool under the temporary layer to create a boundary for the hatch pattern. We wanted to ensure that our hatch pattern didn't overlap with blocks and figures such as the table and chairs and plants, so we made boundaries around them using the closed polyline tool, and this ensured that there is a smooth separation between figures and hatch patterns. This polyline tool can be useful for many things, including rounded patios, snaking pathways, curved driveways, or plant beds. I found that layers were easier to manage in DynaScape than AutoCAD. Many layers are preloaded as the software is industry specific and the designers knew many of the layers that we would be using. While inserting figures such as trees, shrubs, or vehicles, they would be automatically placed into corresponding layers. Along with this, as we created things such as patios or walkways by using lines and polylines, there are already layers labeled as these, and we could just simply place them into these different layers. In this software, the layers had a few different settings, including color, line weight, and line width. If we made a mistake on which layer a line was placed under, it was easy to fix it and put it back into its correct layer by using the Revise tool. While AutoCAD uses things called blocks, DynaScape has its own version called figures. Figures are preloaded, which save us time because we don't have to go to an outside website to find images. They also save us time because they already have a set layer that they're placed into. These figures include plants, furnitures, vehicles, and much more. To place one of these figures, there is a multi-click process which includes the location of the figure, the rotation of the figure, and the size of the figure. Another industry-specific tool to DynaScape is the plant label tool. We're able to use the cluster tool to automatically count plants so that they don't overlap, and then label them based off this cluster. We're also able to manually count them. When we label them, we use leader lines with a 45-degree angle coming off from the plant or cluster of plants, and then a leader line which goes horizontally across the page. The software also allows us to use its plant image database and insert a plant schedule which automatically counts all shrubs and trees and put them in a convenient list at the bottom of our drawing. I would say, to sum everything up, there's definitely benefits to both of these two softwares, but it really depends on what you're using it for. For landscape work, I would say DynaScape is the better option, while for mechanical, structural, or other engineering purposes, I would say that AutoCAD is the right choice for you. Thanks for watching.